All right, Junkie Nation, gorgeous George and Goes come through again. We got another MMA superstar. This time it's Aaron Pico, featherweight for Bellator. Bellator MMA has a card coming up on June 11th. It's Bellator 260, and it's next Friday on Showtime. Aaron Pico is going to be facing Aiden Lee on the main card. What's up, Pico? How are you?
I'm good. Everything's going well. I feel great. Now just waiting for June 11th. I'm excited.
Your first passion was wrestling, then MMA came along, but I think horses are starting to take over. I was speaking at the Gram, and you're having a lot of fun with Canelo. That's your horse, right?
Yeah, I have two horses. I have my first horse is Canelo, and then my second one his name is Coleon. So, yeah, my passion definitely is horses, and it's something that I've always liked since I've been a little kid. So, yeah, I'm very fortunate that I have two, and they're very spoiled. I have 4 dogs as well, so it's a big family here.
Yeah, you grew up in LA, kind of an urban area. I believe it was like the Whittier area and all that. Now you're a little bit more of a country boy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, ever since I've been a kid, I've always been into cowboys, and I found a passion early on, which was horses, and I've always been into, like I said, that lifestyle. And then came out here to New Mexico, and it just clicked. Everything's good, but yeah, it's like I said, it's always been a big dream of mine to have horses in my backyard, and I'm very fortunate that I have that, and I don't take it for granted. That's for sure. I feel like I walk in my backyard, and I just sometimes feel like I'm in a dream. I have my horses. I have a little arena. It's always something that I wish for as a kid. So
now I'm not familiar too much with raising horses and having horses. So are your horses more just like they're your family, or do you race them? What happens with the horses?
No, it's something that that I have 2 Andalusians, or they're Spanish horses, and for me, I just love to trail ride in the backyard. I follow a lot of like horse people, things like that. I recently just started to do like an event. It's called cow sorting, which is something I've been doing like twice a month. So I've been competing, doing a little bit of stuff like that, and just right now, I just have them to enjoy. I try not. MMA is the thing that stresses me out and gets me nervous. So the horses are there just to enjoy, have fun, and I'm very lucky that I found something that I can escape from fighting for a little bit and just be in the present. And whenever time I'm with the horses, I don't really think about fighting. I just enjoy it, and like I said, I'm very lucky that I found that, because not many people have that, especially with fighting is a little stressful, so some people look to do other things. Luckily for me, I have the horses.
Man, I think it's awesome. It's great to have an outside life. I've seen you. Looks like you're trying to take up golf, although you're being very honest and saying you're not that good yet.
My brother and dad are obsessed with golf right now, and I try to play as best as I can, but I'm terrible. But it is fun. I'm starting to like it, and taking an interest in it, but I don't see anything coming surpassing horses. That's the number one.
Yeah. What did you shoot? Like 90, 80, 100?
I'm so bad and so terrible. I don't even know how to keep score or anything like that. I just go to the golf course, and my dad and my brother usually do all that scoring stuff for me.
I got you.
I'm so new to it, so I just like to. Sometimes I just like to go to the driving range, and get the driver, and just whack the shit out of balls. That's what I like to do.
Got you. All right. Talking about MMA, man, I'm a slow caller like you. I was really hoping that somewhere along the way there would be an opportunity. There you go. I didn't want to say injury because I don't want to wish injury on anybody. An opportunity where you may have slipped into that featherweight Grand Prix. It all came down to timing. You weren't one of the original 16, but that doesn't mean that you weren't one of the best 16, because you are. You're not only one of the best 16, you're for sure one of the top 8. I would argue even in the top 4. Did you think it might happen along the way, or was that something you blocked out once you knew you weren't in?
No, it's something that I blocked out. I was okay with. I know coming off the loss against Adam Borks, I took a lot of time off. I took almost a year off. It was 9 months to be exact, and I just let my body heal. I needed to develop with the coaches, and yeah, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. Yeah, I wasn't, to be honest with you, I don't think I was ready and prepared mentally to go into the tournament, especially coming off a loss. So everything played out well. I think I'm in a very, very good position right now with where I'm at, and excited about my development as a fighter. And I think everything played to my advantage. Everything worked out in the long run, so everything is good. I'm not harping on it. I know, like I said, I know where my skill set stands, and I think I can beat anybody in the world.
I believe it, man. And that's a real honest assessment that I'm sure the fans will appreciate hearing from you. But, you're 7-3 after 10 fights. And I'm telling you, when you're clicking, you are clicking. The boxing is really crisp, nice. You have nice mechanics. And, of course, your wrestling, you show it off from time to time. And when you do, you can just tell you're high level there. So I think what you're saying is you knew that was there, and it was just it's a matter of getting the mind right and everything, because I think so much pressure was heaped on you at such an early age. I mean, we look at your age. I think you're only 23, 24, right?
Yeah, I'm only 24, and the fights that I did that I lost, I can beat those guys. I really can. If you go back, it wasn't like I got my ass kicked for 3 rounds. I just got caught, and it was just a lack of inexperience. And I'm everything that worked out for the good. I met the coaches that I have now in my corner, and yeah, a lot of people were calling me the greatest prospect of all time, and I had a lot of good skill sets. I had great boxing, I had good wrestling, but I had a rude awakening early on, and I just knew that after looking at that, I was very, very green. And so being with the coaches here, I've really progressed rapidly. I think for me, I'm surprising myself every day and how fast I'm developing. And it was a blessing. I don't even really pay attention to those losses. I think those guys know that if we fought now, it'd be a different story. But hey, what could you do? Shit happens, and I'm not worried about that anymore. That's the past. I'm looking on to the future, and I would take on those guys any day of the week, and I'd beat them all 3 in one night. To be honest with you, I really would.
That term prospect, it was something that got thrown around, but now you're an established veteran. We all know you well. If this were the Aaron Pico book, what would you say the title of this chapter would be?
I think still right now for me it's developmental. I still have so much growth in my game. Like I said, I'm only 24 years old, so if I had to title it, it'd just be development. I really feel like I still need to develop in some areas, but man, I'm getting good everywhere. I really am. I'm so excited to showcase what I've been learning with the coaches, and I love the sport. I really do, and I'd probably development. I feel like I'm still progressing.
What's interesting about you is when I hear your opponents or other coaches break you down, or even fans, one of the first things I hear is, man, he's fast, he's got power in them hands. But I always kind of look around and see, you guys forget he has this crazy wrestling pedigree. And I feel like a lot of people have forgotten that. Do you feel like, is wrestling still your first love? And do you feel like maybe some of your opponents have maybe forgotten a little bit about that wrestling because of how well you developed your hands?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people don't realize that. My last 3 fights, I've taken down all my opponents. So against Daniel Carey, when I fought him, I took him down and I ground and pounded him for a whole round. And then the second fight, I took the guy down and I rear naked choke. And then my last fight, I took the guy down and I was beating him up on the ground and softening him up. And then the knockout just came. The thing is that I think I don't really care what people like. I'm not trying to like show off like certain things in my game. Like, oh, I have to show this, I have to show that. I just take it one step at a time in the fight. But I can honestly say that I'm getting good in all areas, in the clinch, on the ground, my combinations, my entries, my rhythm changes, and, my kicks, my knees have actually gotten a lot better. And I owe it a lot to the coaches. They spent a lot of time with me. And I don't say that lightly. I really do spend a lot of time with them. And I'm good everywhere. I am really good everywhere, especially in the clinch and just working with Greg Jackson and everywhere. Anywhere the fight goes, I feel so comfortable with. And, to be honest with you, I put a lot of time in grappling, and it's something that you can't forget, and wrestling. I never forget what my roots are, and that's wrestling. And that's the most important thing in MMA as it's evolving. If you don't have the grappling, you don't have the wrestling, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to succeed. So I spent a lot of time in that area.
2021 is starting to whiz right past us. If we all met back again January 1st, 2022, what do you feel like we would be talking about?
That's a good question. I don't have the answer to that. One thing that Greg Jackson always tells me is you got to stay in the process and not and figure and control what you can control. And for me, I got to just stay focused on June 11th. This guy's a very tough opponent. I try not to look too far into the future and say I have to do this or I want to be here, because then I'm pulling myself out of the process. And I guess we'll have to cross that bridge when it comes. But I hope I'm in a very, very good position, God willing, and I believe I will. I believe we're gonna get to the top, and we'll just take one fight at a time, 1 month at a time, and let the chips fall where they go.
When it comes to Aiden Lee, do you worry more about what he brings to the table? Like, have you studied him, or are you more one of those guys that says, I'm just going to steamroll and do what I do and let him kind of adapt to my skills?
No. I've watched a lot of tape on him. I've spent a lot of time with the coaches studying him. I'm not the type of guy that's like, oh, I don't care about what he does. I got to worry about what I do. I'm not like that. I like to really do an assessment on the opponents. I want to know what they're doing. And with this game, I've lost before and things that, and I know I want to, dot my I's and cross my T's and look at everything possible to give myself the best chance to win. So he's a tricky fighter. He's not ranked, but these fights, people don't realize that they're scary because they have nothing to lose. There's a lot riding on it for me, but I feel like that with every fight. I don't take any opponent lightly, to be honest with you. Every fight I look at it and I feel it's a world championship fight. So yeah, back to your question. Yeah, I watched a lot of film on him and I studied him a lot. So we're ready to go for sure.
Even before you said dot I's and cross T's, this was something I was going to tell you that's always impressed me about you ever since 5-6 years ago when you stormed the scene. You're very mature for your age, and you're all about the details. I've noticed that in your personal life, in your professional life, where, like you said, I've studied this guy. I don't let other people tell me not to do my homework. You take that part serious. You're always suited up. And then in 2019 at the forum, you face the media head on. Like, I noticed you have these ways of approaching the fight as a true professional. And I think that's what's always convinced me that you have a championship pedigree. And one day you're going to wear some belts, my man, because too many fighters, I think, go along for the ride, but they're more worried about other stuff other than being the best professional they can be. And it seems like you want to be the best professional athlete you can be. And like maybe the money's second or third, but it seems like gold and being the best is what consumes you.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, it's, the media is there always when you win and things like that. And then, when you lose, I really owe that to my dad. I mean, I've competed at a high level ever since I've been a little kid wrestling, and, I've wrestled nationally all around the world. And, when I lose as a kid, of course I'd be hurt, and because I'm very competitive. But one thing that my dad used to always say is, now is the time where people are going to watch you. Go out there. Yeah, you lost, but go out there and perform and act like nothing happened. Go out there and show that you can bounce back from a loss. And I've really I've embraced that as a young kid. Yeah, sometimes, losses are going to happen, but it's after the losses where people really see what you're made of. And I guess I owe that to my dad, and being at the national championships and taking losses. Okay, my nickname is Cheeks, and he'd always say, "Hey, Cheeks, go out there, put your hood on, just go out and and show them that you can bounce back from this loss. And, you know, my dad was never really like, oh, you lost, and he would be all mad. You know, I never felt like, oh, I let him down. If anything, if I lost, he would just say, hey, listen, go out there and show him what you got. So I think from a young age, I've learned that you just got to freaking face it and go out there and do it again.
I promise you, I was actually going to say that as well. I was going to include your dad in what I was telling you, but it was already the world's longest question, so I had to cut it off. But I remember seeing your dad there. He was suited up too, man. You could tell he's a pretty serious guy, but you could tell he was supporting you. And also, my man, that dude's in shape still, you know? Like, I got to imagine that's where you get your genes, your athletic genes from.
Yeah, you know, both my parents have been so supportive of me as a kid, and they've like I said, they've done everything they possibly can to get me to where I wanted to be, because they saw the drive that I had from a young age. And I owe them a lot. They've definitely been a huge part of my success, and we're going to continue to grow and get better. And like I said, they've always been super, super supportive. So thank you.
3 last things, and they're really quick. What's the other horse's name?
Goleon.
Goleon. Where's that come from?
Like Goleon. I don't know. Like Don Goleon from the Godfather.
Goleon, yeah.
Goleon. Yeah. So, Canelo and Goleon. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is Canelo Alvarez aware that you have a horse named Canelo? By the way, has that across the social media or anything?
No, actually, no. I was just telling you the story after Madison Square Garden. I was not feeling very good. Obviously, it was a brutal loss, so I felt like I was missing something. Horses are always what makes me happy. I don't care if I'm feeling sad, whatever. I always feel I need to be around horses. So after the Madison Square Garden loss, I called up a friend, and I said, hey, I just want to come and see some horses and just be around them. And he said, yeah, not a problem. Come on down. So I did, and I remember I was with my girlfriend. I walked into the barn, and I saw this horse on the right side of me. I said, man, this horse is so beautiful. I'm going to buy him. And she said, well, you don't even know if he's available. I said, I have a feeling that he's going to be available. So my friend walked in, and I'm like, man, this horse is really nice. He said, yeah, he is. His name's Canelo. I said, is he for sale? He said, yeah, actually he is for sale. I said, oh, my favorite boxer is Canelo, and he's for sale. I'm going to buy him. So a week later I bought him, and it was the best decision I ever made.
Very cool. I like that story. All right, here's another one. As bad as you say you are at golf, who, just by observing them in the gym, we're having fun here, at Jackson Wink, do you know for sure you could beat in golf? Like, who doesn't look like they're an athlete that could do well at golf? You can pick Jackson or one of the coaches, or maybe even John Jones. Go for the big guy. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest with you. That's a tough question. Everybody's probably bad at golf.
All right, fair enough. I guess you might have problems at the gym if you don't need one. And then the last thing is, Aaron, you've yet to say anything about that.
Oh, yeah, Bosco.
Modern Day got him again.
Modern Day beat Bosco?
Yeah, it was just a spring season this year. Actually, when we saw you last, it was at the Dominance MMA Media Day, and it was at El Segundo at Mike Tyson's ranch, and you and I lightly talked about it. I got to own up to that. You guys actually beat us in that game, and they won the national title. Bosco did. It was a really, really good game. Hats off. But that was in late 2019. Of course, 2020 went by. There was nothing. But then we played a spring season, and both teams were undefeated. They went in, they played, and we got you. So I figured I'd bust your chops.
Hey, I love go Braves. I'm with Bosco no matter what. So I'll always be a supporter.
Nice. All right. Well, listen, it's been great catching up with you. Thanks for the time. Good luck on June 11th at Bellator 260 on Showtime against Aiden Lee.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.